the Virgin of Hope has transmitted a crucial message to humanity through Father Álvaro Puerta. This revelation comes at a time of great uncertainty, when the world is plunged into a spiritual crisis and confusion. Her appearance is a sign of warning and hope, a call to conversion before it is too late. Throughout history, the Marian apparitions have served as warnings in times of crisis. From Fatima to Garabandal, the Virgin has sent urgent messages to humanity, exhorting conversion and prayer. In each apparition, her words have had a clear purpose: to prepare the faithful to face tests and challenges with strength and faith. The Virgin of Hope stands out from other Marian apparitions because her presence manifests itself in times of uncertainty. Unlike the apparitions where the Virgin has given specific messages about the future, in this case her presence is a guide for those who go through difficult times. Her message is not only a warning, but also a consolation for those who seek direction and strength in times of tribulation. In France, the Virgin appeared during a period of war and chaos, bringing a message of peace and reconciliation. Her intervention helped to calm hearts and remind humanity of the importance of faith in difficult times. This and other apparitions have been a reminder that God does not abandon his people, even in the darkest moments. Father Álvaro Puerta has been chosen to receive this message for his deep devotion to the Virgin and his spiritual preparation. From a young age, his life has been marked by love for the Virgin and the theological study. He has dedicated his life to understanding the divine messages and helping others to find the path of faith. His mission is not easy, but he has been prepared for this moment to faithfully transmit the message of the Virgin to all humanity. The message of the Virgin is clear. The test has begun. We are in a period of unprecedented spiritual crisis and confusion. Many will stray from faith, seduced by false prophets and deceits of the world. However, those who maintain their faith will be strengthened in the times to come. The Virgin calls us to be firm, not to let despair take away our hope. We are on the brink of a great spiritual crisis. The faith of many will be put to the test and not all will resist. In this scenario, the Virgin warns us that only prayer and perseverance can help us not to fall into despair. It is an urgent call to renew our relationship with God, not to postpone conversion, and to strengthen our faith before it is too late. An undeniable sign will appear in heaven. The Virgin has assured us that this sign will be a universal call to conversion. There will be no doubt about its divine origin, and its impact will be profound in all hearts open to the truth. This sign will mark the beginning of a decisive time for humanity, a time when each person will have to choose between light and darkness. The Marian prophecies of Fatima, Akita, and Garabandal have warned about crisis in the church and heavenly signs. In Fatima, the Virgin spoke of wars and persecutions. In Akita, she warned about corruption within the church. In Garabandal, a divine warning was mentioned that would precede great events. The Virgin of Hope adds to these revelations, confirming that the announced times are closer than we think. To prepare us for difficult times, the Virgin has given us three fundamental pillars: constant prayer, especially the Rosary, as a shield against evil; frequent confession, to maintain God's grace and not fall into sin; full trust in God, without fear of the future. Only through these means can we resist the coming trials. Faith cannot be passive. It is necessary to strengthen the family, the community, and evangelize with the example. The Virgin calls us to be living witnesses of faith, to help others on their spiritual path, and also to prepare us in a material and prudent way for the challenges that will come. It is not about falling into fear, but about acting with wisdom and foresight. The call to conversion is now. There is no more time to lose. The Virgin warns us that those who do not convert in time will face great difficulties. However, those who maintain their faith and trust in God will receive their protection. It is time to choose, to follow the light of Christ or to lose ourselves in the darkness of the world. The decision is ours, and the Virgin of Hope extends her hand to guide us on the right path. The Virgin has also called for unity among Christians. In times of tribulation, the division weakens the church and leaves the most vulnerable faithful before the attacks of evil. For this reason, it is essential to strengthen fraternity and solidarity within Christian communities. Faith must be lived in community, sharing hope with others and helping those who need it most. Father Álvaro Puerta has understood that his mission is not limited to transmitting the message, but also to form spiritual guides that help believers in this time of crisis. The Church needs strong and committed pastors, willing to guide the people of God with courage. In this sense, the role of the clergy and the committed layman is crucial to sustain the faith of the weakest. The times to come will be difficult, but the Virgin has promised her protection to those who remain firm. We should not fear, for God never abandons his children. Prayer, penance, and trust in the divine providence will be our best weapons in this spiritual battle. Each person has a role in this great call to conversion and must respond with generosity and faith. Finally, the Virgin invites us to look to the future with hope. Even if the world goes through dark times, the light of Christ will never be extinguished. The final victory belongs to God, and those who persevere in faith will see the glory of his kingdom. Now is the time to decide, to act and to trust in the promise of the Virgin of Hope, who guides us with maternal love towards true peace and salvation. In this context, the Virgin has also pointed out that prayer as a family must be a fundamental pillar. The union of homes in faith is a source of spiritual strength and a refuge against the storms of the world. We are exhorted to pray together, to transmit faith to new generations, and to live the gospel coherently in every aspect of our lives. Likewise, the Virgin of Hope invites us to trust in the divine mercy. She reminds us that, although times may be difficult, God always opens doors of salvation to those who come to him with a sincere heart. We should not despair, but embrace the divine mercy and share this love with others. Hope is not only for us, but to be spread like a light that illuminates those who are in darkness. In addition, the Virgin exhorts us to remain vigilant. She reminds us that the enemy seeks to weaken our faith, sow doubt, and discourage perseverance. It is crucial to remain firm in the truth of the gospel and to reject everything that takes us away from God. With humility, prayer, and fidelity, we can overcome any obstacle and remain on the path of salvation. In this time of trial, the Virgin reminds us that faith must be lived with coherence and courage. It is not enough to believe in God superficially or intermittently. It is necessary to make a firm and daily commitment to the gospel, reflected in our actions, words, and thoughts. True faith is manifested in charity, patience, and selfless surrender to others. The Virgin exhorts us to strengthen our spiritual life through the Eucharistic adoration. Jesus Christ is present in the Eucharist and waits for us to pour his grace over us. Spending time in prayer before the most holy sacrament fills us with spiritual strength and helps us discern the right path in the midst of the confusion of the world. It is in the presence of Christ that we find peace and clarity to move forward with faith. We are also reminded of the importance of fasting and penance. These practices not only spiritually purify us, but also prepare us to face difficulties with an attitude of humility and sacrifice. Fasting helps us to detach ourselves from the material and focus on the essential, our relationship with God and others. Through penance, we offer God our sacrifices as an expression of love and reparation for the sins of the world. The time for conversion is limited. The Virgin has warned that the events to come will be a great test for humanity. We should not wait for extraordinary signs to take seriously our commitment to God. Now is the time to decide who we will serve and in whom we will place our trust. We cannot live with shyness, but with a firm and ardent faith that drives us to follow the path of truth. In this context, the Virgin also calls us to be light in the midst of darkness. Many around us have lost faith or let themselves be carried away by despair. It is our mission to be witnesses of the love of God and to transmit hope to those who need it most. With our words and works, we must reflect the divine mercy and help others to reconnect with